recordings of how to have a picnic.
We
Take
do.
two.
Okay, now
Okay,
start.
Take two. I'm Debbie Lucas. This is John. He is our biggest chef around here. And so I think he had the picnic idea. So then last time I was here, John and I were brainstorming about going back to old school time picnics. And remember back in the day when you had a picnic basket, before we had coolers and all this fancy stuff, and we talked about the things that we made. So we've got a twist on some traditional picnicky foods today, and maybe some ideas too to give you. So Linda sent out all the recipes I know this morning. And so hopefully you got those. And everybody who's in here has a little card, and that's just for us to prompt a little discussion about certain items. So who's got a card? Who wants to read off what your card says?
Salad.
Salad. Oh, that's a great one to start with. Okay. So when you think about traditional picnics, what kind of salads do you bring? Potato salad, which is why John has a great take on the potato salad. What else? Macaroni. You know, I didn't even think about macaroni salad. That would have been a good one. Okay, what else?
Fruit salad.
Fruit salad, right? Coleslaw, definitely. So we're doing a twist on slaw today. Tabbouleh. So in fact, John did keep saying tabbouleh, but we didn't do.
Nobody
tabbouleh.
thinks of tabbouleh, John. I'm sorry. Yeah, what's tabbouleh? Rico said.
It's a grain-based salad, kind of Mediterranean. They use bulgur or cracked wheat for it. It's got mint in it and parsley and vegetables. What's the major spice in it? Is it parsley?
Yeah. Parsley, 2 bunches of parsley, a bunch of mint,
Okay.
garlic.
Yeah. All right. So I think those grain-based salads are actually a really great idea because I think they hold up very well. Any other salads? What I thought carrot salad. Didn't you guys have carrot salad? Carrot with the raisins?
Yes.
Yeah, or Waldorf salad. Okay. And what was our big fear, especially back in the day? Mayonnaise, because we didn't want to get sick. Eggs, yeah, you're right. And I think that was really the problem. It wasn't just the mayonnaise, it was the mayonnaise mixed with the egg and then the warm temperature.
And chicken too.
And chicken, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
And even potatoes.
So
Yeah.
for our chicken salad today, in fact, I was planning to dive into that first. Because I want the students to help make some little sandwiches for you. But we did a jackfruit tuna or chicken salad. Jackfruit, if you've seen it before, so Robert told me he saw one, and they're big, huge things. They're ugly, and it's amazing what comes out of them. I gotta buy them in the can because I don't need all that big one. And I'll pass the can around if you want to see it. I got it at Trader Joe's, but typically I get them at the Asian markets because they're the cheapest. Although this was only $1.99 at Trader Joe's, which I thought was pretty good. I
It's
think
only 50 cents more than you can get them.
that at the Asian stores, you're right. And
We
so
had
what
it. We need to find it. We had a great video of Tim and his
mom,
mom cutting up a jackfruit.
that was awesome.
That was
Yes.
a ripe one too.
Yeah.
So what happens is they cut it up and it comes out looking like this. So that's what you get in your can, or these little chunks. And the cool thing about these little chunks, and I think, who has used jackfruit? Anybody? Have you used it before?
Oh, no, I
No.
didn't hear your question was.
So it's this big thing. When they cut it up and brine it, it looks like this, but it's often used in meat substitute recipes. Like you can do a pulled pork with it. Or what else do you do with it?
Ribs.
Ribs. Oh yeah, you do a good rib. So when you have these, what happens is you just kind of squish it down. John suggested I squish it. I sometimes shred it. If I'm doing it in a pan, I'll just break it apart with the tines of my fork. Because sometimes when I heat it, like for my pulled pork. And then there's a little core that they always say to throw away, but especially for this recipe, I think we should keep it. Because it's fine. It's edible. So then now we just have this kind of meaty substance. And so Angela, in fact, all the students were a big help today. I did nothing. But she broke up most of the can. She left this one for me. And then we're going to just put this little salad together. So if you haven't gotten your recipe, it's called smoky jackfruit chicken salad. The only smoky thing is the smoked paprika, so I'm not sure why smoky. Does yours have liquid smoke in it? potato salad?
This says smoked salt, but this is, I use
You-
smoke.
Liquid smoke, okay, because that can give you things with smoky flavor too. You know how a lot of salads might have little chunks of bacon or something in it, so you can use the liquid smoke to make it taste smoky. So really, all we're gonna do is use this stuff. So I'm gonna dump that in my bowl. And then we add celery, which Angela cut up all my stuff for this one. So she's got celery. And she included the leaves, so this is gonna add a nice crunch to it. Especially when you're using something in place of meat, you need a lot of things to add to it to make it interesting. And then we're gonna do some green onion.
What was that thing you just put in there?
Celery.
Celery.
It looked leafy because she used the leaves too.
Oh, that's good.
And then now these are just diced up green onions. And then red pepper. That adds a little color. Now, one thing that this recipe calls for, as all picnic salad recipes call for, is mayonnaise. So I made a mayonnaise last night out of soaked cashews. So you soak the cashews and they get soft, and then you blend them up with a little lemon juice or vinegar and a little water, and that's pretty much all you do.
So it's not mayonnaise, it's cashew cream.
It's cashew cream. Now, I was gonna ask you, John. I blended this thing forever, and still it wasn't as smooth as the one you made last time. Do you do the food processor or blender?
In the wrist.
In the wrist.
Well, I didn't use my wrist, but that wouldn't be a problem. I just hit go.
You put cashews in.
Yeah,
Um,
you soak them so they soften.
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
Put the cashews in, put the fluid in. Turn the blender on low until everything is broken down, and then grind it up to high, and when it looks creamy, then I flip on the super high. and Let it go for a minute.
So you just don't have the boat motor driving techniques of the blender that
I
John
think
does.
And you know, I have a
Yes.
blend tech, which is a pricey blender, but you have the Vitamix if you can crank it. Mine doesn't crank up like that.
We call it the boat motor blender.
Yeah. it's like that. So I'm gonna take some of this mayonnaise and just add it. It says to use 2 or 3 tablespoons, but we'll do what we want.
Are these raw cashews?
Yes.
Yeah,
And the recipe, Linda has the recipe. So the front is the salad, the back is the vegan mayonnaise made from the cashew.
Vegans, they eat this.
No. So a vegan wouldn't eat anything from an animal, eggs or fish. No cheese,
Milk?
no milk.
You drink, how about honey?
You know, that's a good question. I'm really not a great vegan because I still eat honey. But a lot of vegans won't have honey because,
A bee's an animal.
yeah, bees were not always treated well for commercial honey. I think if you're buying honey from local makers, as a vegan, you could feel okay about that.
But it still came from an animal, so it wouldn't be.
It did. You're right.
That would be good with salmon. You could make an avocado.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And what
Avocado
did we
based
do with
what?
your cashew cream
Sure.
last time? I mean, to me, they're all cashew cream, but this one they call mayonnaise. What did we make last time? With the cashew cream? Oh, the pasta.
yeah. Make some more. Used up the last night.
Yeah, so my recipe and it called for a cup of cashews. I mean, we didn't need all that mayonnaise. All right, so there's that. And then what else do we add? Oh, I think this is what really kicks this one up is the dill. Fresh dill. And then some garlic. And some fingers. Which I did want. And some lemon juice. Lemon juice. And now we got it. We got our salad.
So this is the jicama or this is the jackfruit?
This is the jackfruit.
Okay.
So the jackfruit will look like this.
Hmm.
Okay, and I
So
think
how much jackfruit is in there?
I can't.
And so that's half of the ingredients, a third, a quarter, with respect to, I can't see from here. It's between the peppers and the whatever,
Oh,
volume wise.
volume wise. Okay, so it was a can of the jackfruit, 2 celery stalks, 3 green onions, half a cup of red bell pepper, and little dashes of everything else. It's going to call for a dash of smoked paprika.
So it's predominantly the jackfruit.
Yes, that's the main thing. Coming out. So don't look at me while I. Okay. Everybody some pepper. Okay, and so then while we make a few sandwiches for you guys, John's gonna move over to his potato salad. Oh, you are real. Okay, so that's it. That's pretty big, huh?
Yes.
Let's hope it tastes good.
I think
I
your
think
pepper
it-
was just as real.
What?
Your
I
pepper
know.
was real.
You're
Maybe not as fresh, but it's rusty.
Rusted, yeah.
Okay, so before we move on to you, John, somebody else tell me what's on your card. We talked about salad. Beverages. See, that's a good one. And we don't have any beverages today. We didn't, that was part of it. What do you drink at a picnic?
Soda, iced tea.
I think iced tea would be great.
Lemonade.
Lemonade, exactly. In fact, if what? Beer. Well, of course you gotta have some beer. Now I bet it's beer and wine and everything. You're right.
California.
So just remember, lemonade is just like soda as far as sugar and lack of nutrients. So, but you could take water and you could put fruit in it to kind of infuse it. I could add squeezes of lemon to things. Cucumber, very nice.
Mint.
Mint. Oh, see, that would be fun. You could add mint to your lemon, to your iced tea too. That would be really fun. Strawberries, yes. Jalapeno, if you're wild like
yeah,
John
I've heard
is,
that.
yes.
Really?
Okay, so we don't want to use our picnic as an excuse to go off the rails as far as our healthy eating. I guess that's my point.
yourself.
Okay, so John, you take over.
So potato salad, this is not my mother's. This is something that derives from living in California and getting married to somebody who said, you know, we should try German after having eaten my mother's. It was making sure. So we did, and then after the divorce, I went back to the white stuff. But you know, there's something that's can get you about this, and it's that there isn't oil, and that's something that I more and more is sort of been on the diet. Let's not call it. You keep oil, you allow yourself some oil in life, but you don't want to waste it on something like mayonnaise. You want to put it in something good. So this is the German potato salad. It's from Fat Free Vegan. And her website is loaded with things that are tasty because she's from Mississippi and is used to things being spicy and used to lots of vegetables.
So who's the guy named Chuck?
Chuck is Chuck Underwood, and he's the brand new vegan.
Oh, okay.
She's the fat free vegan.
Okay.
So what I've done is I'm doubling the recipe here. So this is a little more than 4 pounds of Yukon Golds. Most people suggest getting red potatoes or Yukon Golds. The russets are a little bit too absorbent, and they'll suck up everything before it all gets dressed. So boiled them, diced them, cooled them. And so now we're going to make the dressing.
And you didn't peel them probably.
I didn't peel them. No, I don't peel potatoes.
Yeah.
So since it's doubled, I'm gonna, instead of doing a quarter cup of red wine vinegar,
John, I'm having trouble hearing you.
okay. Quarter cup red wine vinegar. And we're gonna double that.
Do you ever double recipes and then forget to double everything?
I have,
I do that all the time.
that's why I'm saying it out loud.
And what's the ingredient that you usually forget to double?
It's always something.
It's something.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're not
Sometimes
resistant.
it's really horrible.
That's why I keep a recipe when I cook, even though I've made it.
Okay, by the way, this.
So this asks for 3
Oh, it should be in
tablespoons
the
of
middle.
broth. A quarter cup is 4 tablespoons, so I'm gonna do.
But you're not getting the speakers. That's not the right place, but I'm not gonna move it in the middle of it.
Right.
Yeah.
4 plus 2. This broth. Okay. Horse mustard, I don't know if you used this a lot back in the 80s. Remember when in the 80s there were mustards galore, you almost had half an aisle in the supermarket mustards. Now it's down to a little. shelf. So we're doing
Gonna go for my eyeball.
Okay.
1
you
teaspoon.
Thursday.
Yeah.
What kind of mustard?
This is whole grain horse mustard.
So have you, because I actually tried this recipe at home. And the mustard I had was weird. It was some deli mustard that was in the fridge that I was just getting rid of, and I regretted it, but I'm trying to remember
There you go.
what was wrong with it. Maybe it had too much, it was too spicy or something.
So bad.
I don't think so. Pickles. Okay, so what do we got? Not gonna use salt because we've got other salty things coming. Pepper. I have an aversion to the things in the can. I got this 50 years ago from friends who felt sorry for me. And so I use it, and this is generous grading. The calculation for me is 10 tourists is a quarter teaspoon.
Is that generous, or is that, what's the definition of generous?
When I stop,
I see. Is it more than 10?
yeah,
I'm not counting. I don't know if you are.
15.
Is that adjustable? That,
It probably is,
Mine is on the top, I think. depending. Sometimes it's coarser.
as it is, I burned through a full cylinder in about a month. I use this a lot.
Sometimes the adjustments are on the bottom. too,
Yeah.
up underneath.
Okay. She mentions a 16th teaspoon of hickory salt.
On our recipe, I changed it to the liquid smoke.
Ah, okay. How much?
I think I said the same, 16th. Which I don't know how you measure that, but.
You think? So,
This is the recipe that Linda put in the newsletter too. I love that.
No, but I printed it again. It's over here.
so this is the smoke. This is well, this is safe. The lid I stole from a McCormick extract top because the extract has a force valve. But the smoke bottle doesn't. So every time I use the smoke bottle, it would spill. And I get real close and all of a sudden. So this gives me some control. And so every time I buy a new bottle, I take the lid, rinse it out, put it on the next bottle. And every extract cleaning I get that has one of these tops, I save the top because the plastic does wear out. So I'm gonna add a quarter teaspoon
What is in that liquid smoke?
smoke.
I'll read it. Cause I've always wondered that too, and I always look and then I forget. Ingredients: water, natural hickory smoke flavor. In other words, we don't know. It's flavors.
I've always
You know,
wondered
and
about
It's always in New Jersey. They make these flavors in New Jersey. So funny,
the natural ones.
the natural flavor.
Yeah, okay, so we've done. The formula here says you pour this on the potatoes, anoint, basically,
Did you use the broth yet, or is that this different?
the broth is in here.
Okay.
And we go around a bit, get it good and covered. And the final thing on the formal recipe is onion. And she used green onion because that's what she had in the house. I use green onion because I like green in a potato salad.
I think the color really helps. Fun to add color. Oh,
Now, unlike the recipe, I like potato salad that's salad. So I throw in peas because there's a textural thing. It's kind of neutral flavor, but it has a fresh vegetable flavor to it. And again, it's the green color. This is a cup of peas.
Frozen?
So you would do half a cup according to the recipe.
Does it matter if it's frozen or canned?
Oh, these were frozen. So, and then lastly, and this is sort of the communist element. We've got smoke here, but something that's a little savory, something that gives you a little darker note. In this instance, we're going to use sun-dried tomatoes. And I rehydrated these with broth and dried them, saved the broth. The broth is really a wonderful stock that you can use in other things. And sun-dried is different than tomato juice. It's darker. It's really, so we're gonna throw this in. This is a half a cup of dry, so you want for the recipe, a quarter cup. Okay, so.
no, the one thing that isn't in this potato salad is mayonnaise. And so does somebody here have a card that says like food safety? Oh, there we go. So it's great to make things that don't have the mayonnaise. And I would have to say, most everything that we make doesn't have anything that'll really go bad, even if it got a little warm. But what could be other things that would have to do with food safety on our picnic?
Vinegar, I think, is a good.
Vinegar is, you know, you're right. Vinegar is really good to help avoid things going bad. Sorry, I was just transitioning.
You can transition, we're done.
You're done? Oh, okay. I bet one of the students will bring this around and dish you up some, so we can see how it is. So with food safety, I'm also thinking keeping your cold foods cold and your hot foods hot. And so nowadays we do have a lot of options. How do you keep your cold foods cold?
Ice.
Ice chests,
Ice chest.
coolers, those little blue ice block things. Anything else? Food safety? No.
Paul keeps his beer in the creek.
You know, that's.
To get that in the back.
Oh, you know, and I have one of those and I was trying to bring it, but it broke. But yeah, they have these little net things that you can put on top of your bowls or plates and it keeps the bugs away. You're absolutely right.
Even just the Tupperware bowl that you turn upside down.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
I don't use Tupperware to store food anymore, but I use them for things like that. So,
You know, that's a great idea to not throw that stuff away. Yeah, you're right. That's a good idea.
Other things.
Okay, all right. Thank you, John. That looks luscious. Who has another card? What have we not talked about?
Veggies?
Veggies, okay. So most of our dishes are all about the veggies. What are other veggies you could bring?
Cucumber
Olives.
slices.
Cucumber slices? What? Olives. Olives, I love olives. I can't control myself around olives. Okay, what?
Carrot stick.
Carrot sticks?
Pickles.
Pickles, oh yeah, that's a fun one. That's a good picnic one. Pickles, you're right.
Salty.
What?
They tend to be salty.
Yeah, you're right, they are. We can do sweet pickles.
Homemade pickles.
We can do homemade pickles.
Cherry tomato, grape tomato?
Yes, we could do tomatoes, you're right. You could just have a whole assortment of veggies and what are we gonna dip them in that isn't ranch dressing?
Cashew.
Almond, cashew cream, there you go. Okay, those would be great. Okay,
Guacamole.
guacamole, oh, see, that would be good. And so guacamole and chips. So,
So Rico, what's in your avocado dressing you were talking about?
me?
You can make like a creamy, you can use yogurt and mix it with your avocado. It's actually making guacamole.
Do you ever use avocado dressing, John?
No.
Just
No,
for the creamy texture.
I don't usually have salads.
So like an avocado cream kind of thing? Yeah, see that? Okay,
So instead of thick like guacamole, it's got creamy like a dressing.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you did. Sounds like you do. I'm,
Broccoli?
I did it one.
oh, see, broccoli would be good.
Yes.
Who here likes raw broccoli?
Thank you.
I like it, I'll eat it. You have cauliflower, cherry tomatoes. I mean, if you're going somewhere and you have to bring a dish, you can always get those ones that are already cut up veggies when you go, the little baby carrot sticks. That's really fun. I usually will throw away the dressing they include in those and put my hummus in. Okay, my next thing is a take on slaw. And we use jicama. Has anybody used jicama before?
It's lovely.
It is, but it's kind of a pain, don't you think?
You have
Yeah.
to peel it.
You're right. So this is half of it. So we cut it in half and then you do have to peel it. So I tend to peel it. You can just use your potato peeler. It's just too heavy and thick. And this is a root vegetable. So usually I'll cut it like we did here and then just go around with my knife to peel it like that. So Advik was very creative. He did the slice, the peeling, and he tried to make little chips out of it, like you would with potato skins. But I think we didn't think we loved that. What did you think, Advik?
Well, they didn't turn out so well because I peeled it with a knife, which I just cut off the skin, so I had some left. So they didn't really fry, instead of more just boiled. So
Okay.
Thank you.
Too much moisture in there.
Yeah, which is weird because they're super dry.
Yeah.
so if you want to try them at
So,
home, you're
We
there.
cut it in half.
So
We cut it in half again. We peeled it. And then for this recipe, it called for matchsticks. But you could grate or do matchsticks. And the recipe said, grating's okay, but it's really a lot better with matchsticks. So Advik
So sorry.
really worked on cutting it really thin. But then you say, okay, and so he did a great job with those. So here are my little jicama matchsticks that Advik made. It took him a while.
Yeah.
And so that's not an easy thing. You could have also thrown it in the grater. So I actually went kind of the lazy way and just got grated carrots, but you could do the same thing with the carrots. And then we got the jicama, but I just want to show you because now we have all this jicama left over. Now what are you gonna do with this?
Eat it.
Raw, eat it.
Eat it raw. You know what I love to do is I cut it and then I cut it into bigger sticks, like the kind that you would add to your veggie tray. But I leave them just like this in a big thing of lemon juice in the fridge. And so then they're kind of lemony and fresh tasting when you want to snack on them. So I love jicama for that reason. And I'll tell you, I got the smallest jicama I could find at the store. They are just huge. But it still just cost a few dollars. They're not very expensive. They last. They're really great. But I think it's something we don't use a ton of because it is some work. So we got carrots, we got jicama, We've got some red onions, which Sebastian sliced for me very thin. And then we've got the purple cabbage. He actually used a little grater for that. And it cut it nice and thin, the purple cabbage. It's so full, purple is so great. And it's got all those antioxidants in it, all those anti-inflammatory products. I think we talked about inflammation last time.
You should have used a bigger bowl.
What?
You should have used a bigger bowl is what I said.
That's usually my way. Now, I think that's all this called for, except for cilantro. Did I do it all? I feel like I forgot something, but I don't think so.
Red onion.
Yeah, I did the red onion. And then Leslie did my cilantro leaves. And then the dressing is just lime juice. Lime juice, but we thought, and balsamic vinegar. We thought it was a little bland, so we added a little maple syrup to that to kick it up a notch. And I think we added like some garlic powder too. And then we're just gonna pour that all over this. And now we have a slaw. Now, who here likes slaw? You like regular slaw?
I add apple to it.
Oh, see, that's good. And that would be great in here. In fact, I have a recipe that is some kind of apple slaw that we've made here. Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, what else?
Green bell pepper.
Green bell pepper. Ooh, see, that would be nice. Anything else? I don't love slaws. The regular slaw, I like this kind of slaw with a vinegar or a lime. I don't like, are they mayonnaise based slaws? Like the kind you get at KFC. Yeah, I don't love that kind. But this kind I really like.
Can you put seeds in there?
Seeds like,
Walnuts or,
that would be a great idea. And one of these recipes, it might have been this one, said you could add like hemp seeds or those kind of things to kick it up to the next notch. You could also do garbanzos, you could add beans to it, so you could add your protein. You could do avocado in it.
Blueberries.
Blueberries, so pretty. Yes. So here we go. So now we got it. So that's a nice one looking one, don't you think?
Mhm.
Okay, I bet somebody like Leslie might pass this around for us. So thank you for that. Oh, the tongs might be better. You're right. Okay.
Or
Now,
that's that pasta fork
the pasta fork?
it's in the,
It's California. So
I
who
would-
else card they haven't read off yet?
Choose your win.
We've already done sandwiches.
We're just sandwiches. Yeah, you're right.
no,
But what other kind of sandwiches we could bring? PB&J's? What else could we do?
when I was at, Simmer,
Tamari.
oh, my saying wrong? I'm sorry. They did one of the members did it was tuna, but it was made with, thank you.
Chickpeas.
Have a little pinch. I don't know what it was made, but I just remember when I was thinking about it, now I forgot. But yeah, it was made with,
It's hard to do.
Oh, hard to find.
She could make
yeah, well, yeah,
Similar to our jackfruit one, you could use garbanzo beans, you could use parts of palm and make like a little sandwich or salad. How was that one? Was it good? Did you like the jackfruit?
Uh-huh.
It really has no flavor at all, so it just picks up whatever you cook it with. How's the potato salad?
I like
Super
it.
colorful, okay, good, all right, yeah,
Make a suggestion. If you like to cook Chinese food
yeah,
and it has, water chestnuts,
yes.
instead of water chestnuts, I use. Yeah, and
That's a great idea. I never thought of that, but they're very similar.
yeah, the texture and the.
That's fine.
And cheaper and.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Why did she say water
Yeah, I like
chestnuts
that.
for what? Using jicama instead of water
Instead of
chestnuts.
Water
That's a
chestnut.
good idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, who has a card that we haven't read yet? Dessert. Now you're talking. Okay, so what kind of dessert do we bring to the picnic?
Brownies.
Finger foods are nice.
Finger foods are nice. So we might have a few finger foods that Leslie will pass out next. So we did the brownies. whose recipe I've lost, but I made these last
But
night.
yes.
And these are from the Oshi Glow's
Thanks.
website or cookbook. And what I love about them is that they put them in little mini muffin cups, thank you, Leslie, as opposed to putting them in a pan and cutting them. So I love that. There's no flour in it. There's no sugar, but it does call for maple syrup.
Thank you.
So there's sweetener in it.
Did you use oatmeal or would you
I
use?
used oatmeal, and it didn't say to grind it up. It's just like a third of a cup of oatmeal. And you know what the star ingredient is?
Chocolate.
Black beans.
Oh, black.
Well, I would say the star is chocolate, and it's just the canned, Hershey's cocoa powder. or
Did you
what.
use the Dutch I don't know what Dutch
You know,
cocoa is.
I got the dark chocolate because it called for 2 tablespoons of cocoa and 1 tablespoon of Dutch chocolate.
What is that?
I couldn't wait to ask John what that was, but I got dark chocolate and it said something about the Dutch process on it. Do you know what Dutch chocolate is? Anybody know what Dutch chocolate is? I don't know. I just got the dark, so I mixed it. So you blended that up. You had the black beans, just a can of black beans. You had the maple syrup to sweeten it up. A 1/3 cup of just rolled oats. And what am I missing? Am I missing anything that was in there?
What kind of chocolate chips are these?
These, interesting that you should ask that, because I usually get the Light Life chocolate chips that are dairy free, and they're up to like $7, depending on what store you go to. And so I went to Trader Joe's, and they had the dairy free. I meant to grab that bag to bring it. I'm sorry I didn't, but they're dark chocolate. They have no dairy in them, and they were only like $2.98.
Oh my gosh.
So you stir those up in it, put them in the muffin cups, and then put a few on top. So
Well, they're really tasty.
are they good? Because I have to tell you, my faux pas was I made them last night. And it said cook 10 minutes and then let it sit 10 minutes. And so 10 minutes later, I'm trying to dig them out of the muffin tin and they weren't done. So by then my oven isn't as hot, but I stick them in, turn the oven back on and for 5 more minutes. And so I hope they came out okay. So they're all right.
Yeah, it's fuzzy.
Okay, fuzzy. That's the thing. And the black bean brownies or black beans, you want to cover it up a little bit. Do they taste like beans at all?
No, the chocolate overpowers.
The chocolate overpowers it, and it
canned?
wasn't even that much chocolate.
Canned beans?
Canned beans. But you could use, if you cook your own beans, you could use that too. Yeah.
Good. Good.
So any other desserts we could bring on our picnic?
Chocolate chip cookie.
That would be an excellent one. Chocolate chip cookies, right? And you can veganize those too.
Watermelon.
Watermelon. Okay, so that we have somebody who has fruit. Okay, so thank you very much. So I have my watermelon. That's always my go-to because it's generally cheap. You can cut it all up and you don't have to mess with it. So I brought y'all some watermelon too. And let's see, when you have a moment, this is our last one. Then you can eat. Yes.
Are the seeds a thing of the past? I noticed when I get them, I don't see seeds in
Well, they're also, nobody wants seeds anymore, which is kind of sad. Remember how you ate the seeds and then you spit them out? And that was so fun. But yeah, you can get some with the seeds,
Okay.
but
No, I
they're not
thought
easy
they
to
were-
find
I
anymore.
didn't know they fixed it where they don't come up.
No, you can still get them with the seeds.
Okay.
They're usually cheaper.
They put chemicals in it to keep them seedless.
I think it's just in the breeding, yeah. I don't think there's any chemicals.
I mean, in the process of growing.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, how do you get another watermelon if there's no seeds?
Cuttings.
Cuttings.
That's a good thought. Oh, that's true. And there's always the occasional seed. Or there's the little white seeds.
Seedless or not seedless, they have the white seeds.
Yeah,
So I think there's lots of food if people want more, right?
yeah, there's definitely a lot more.
Thank you.
Did we, everybody say their card?
No.
Okay.
Thank you. Mine is cleanup.
Oh,
I can't remember before paper plates
Oh,
and
thank you.
plastic stuff and anyway, I guess I
I'm
don't
good.
know what we did. We took the dishes home, I know that,
okay.
and I don't remember that we had a bag with us that we just filled up with the other stuff. There wasn't very much to wash though that I recall.
Yeah.
Then.
Okay, so that brings me to what John and I were talking about, that's on mine, is serving eating utensils.
There's the one sandwich left over there, Nick,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
lots.
You better. So if you do like, paper plates are definitely what a lot of people use, but if we're trying to be more zero waste and not, use all the paper products, we could get reusable plates. Like this little, melamine or whatever that is that we use when we eat outside. You can bring those, you can bring them all home and wash them. You can bring your own silverware, bring it home, wash it. I know that's clean up then once you get home. Anybody else do things that yeah,
If you use paper plates, you can compost them,
okay, there you go.
because I compost stuff in my garbage can.
Uh-huh.
Put some holes in the top.
Yeah.
And then I don't put any, I hardly put anything down the garden disposal.
Yeah, okay.
So you're saving sewage from
Right.
less water.
Okay, that's a great idea. So if you use paper plates, compost them. Yes,
But you have to get paper plates that aren't coated.
right. Well, so
Well, I
then
just-
John and I were
Yeah.
talking about that. So you use paper plates. You gotta use at least a couple because you don't want your plate to collapse. And then it leaks through your plates and then you grab a couple more. So you end up using like 4 paper plates.
No.
I just use those plastic plates and then just wash them and
Okay,
use them
that's a
over
great
again.
What was that?
The plastic plates, that they sell as paper plates.
Right. There's lots of different options. You're saying they sell the paper plates that are made from plastic. So then you could reuse those. You can get the even plastic silverware that you can wash and reuse, or you can bring your own silverware. For napkins, I mean, our family for years have used cloth napkins. So we just always bring a bunch of cloth napkins.
Some little wooden utensils.
You are right. The little bamboo things that people have. I don't know if I told you, we're trying to use less waste and paper products and plastic at home. And so my New Year's resolution was to cut back on paper plates. So we went to paper towels. And I bought, the big 12-pack of paper towels, and I marked the calendar and I said to my husband, we can't use any more of these until next year. And we're doing pretty good. He's starting to get on board.
Wow.
So it's very fun.
So what do you use instead?
I have a little drawer that's where my paper towels usually are. And I have old napkins. I have these things that look like diapers. They're sold as paper towels, but they're not. And I just use those. So you just use rags more.
Yeah.
So you do more wash.
Yeah. Well, but you can get a whole big load.
You're right.
And you can reuse paper towels. You buy the good quality ones.
That's true.
And I just rinse them up. If you're just wiping your hands, they're clean. I do the same thing. I let them dry out. and I use them
That's
again.
good.
And then when they are sticky,
Well,
Yeah.
you can use them to clean spots off.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
And then compost.
And then compost. You have to have a huge compost.
I do.
You gotta work on
My
that.
neighbors don't like it.
But it's okay too, because when I got my little bin, it said that you could put like. This is like you said, coated.
I've started putting cloths over bowls too, instead of like saran wrap.
Uh-huh.
Aluminum.
That's a great idea instead of using the plastic.
Yeah.
I got those beeswax, like to use instead of plastic that go over things.
beeswax.
Yeah, they're made from beeswax. So I was worried about the bees, but they assured me the bees were still okay if I used the beeswax. So I don't know.
Where did you get those?
I got it at a honey store.
Oh, interesting.
Is it beeswax saturated cloth or is
It's not
it
cloth.
just the whole wax?
Yeah. And so you can crumple it up, you can lay it out, it's firm, and then you can rinse it off and reuse it over and over and over.
You need to bring that in to see what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or some bowls, you can put a plate on top of them too.
That's a great idea. I do that too sometimes. Yeah, good idea.
To keep shower caps from the hotels.
That is so smart.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
You probably have a lot of those,
Got a
Karen.
lot of those.
Thank you.
Thank you. So how was the food?
Great. Wonderful.
What would you do different to any of it?
I would put dried cranberries in the coleslaw.
Such a great idea.
Cause it's really good.
Dried cranberries in the
Oh,
coleslaw,
okay.
in the jicama slaw.
Or
Okay,
right-
I love that idea. Okay,
Pineapple chunks in the
pineapple
coleslaw.
chunks, yes, super
Made
fun.
it a little sweeter,
Mhm.
but I love the coleslaw. I love that.
Okay, good. How are the brownies?
Oh,
Awesome.
good, really
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I love those. That was a fun recipe. John shared that recipe with me. But John's favorite brownie recipe are these raspberry ones
Right.
that are from Forks Over
Forks
Knives.
Over Knives. The chocolate raspberry truffles.
You have a favorite recipe from Forks Over Knives? I'm shocked.
I know, it's the
Yeah.
only one.
The only one, yeah. You go with what works.
Okay,
That is raspberry jam comes from Oshi Glows.
okay.
So you make your own raspberry jam.
Is it chia jam or is it jam?
Chia, a bag of frozen raspberries,
Hmm.
a glug of maple syrup, and a quarter teaspoon of almond, I think. Almond extract.
Hmm.
It works. Heat it up and then you've always got jam left over because you only use a quarter of it for the brownie.
Hmm.
But that means you have to make more.
How long
Some-
does it last? You just keep it
Depends on how hungry you are and how much milk's in the fridge.
Have you made the black bean brownies in the Instant Pot? Because Twilight used to do that a lot.
No. I've never done baking in the Instant Pot.
Oh, instant.
So do you just keep them in a pan and you stick that down in the
I
Instant
don't know
Pot?
what she used to, do her demos on Instant Pot.
Right.
She already had them made, because I don't know how long it takes, but yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna try it. Okay. All right, well, I think that's all we have, you guys. Thanks for sharing what was on your
Yeah,
cards and
yeah.
sharing your ideas. And now I hope to see you, where are we going on our picnic? That's a good idea. Where are we going?
To the beach.
The beach, okay, I like it.